Some days I need a little inspiration to keep going in this work we call faithful resistance. Doesn't everyone? And on some of those some days, I look for words from people I admire to get me going. Like Jane Goodall, of blessed memory, said, "You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of a difference you want to make." And then there's this famous quote from cultural anthropologist Margaret Mead. You know the one. "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." It is the perfect intro to the conversation we're sharing today. You know, they say timing is everything. I ran into Ruth Rinehart, Reverend Ruth Rinehart, recently and said, "It's time for you to be on the podcast, Ruth." And she said, "That's great, because I have this wonderful program that I'm beginning." So let's dive. Welcome, UU Minister Reverend Ruth Rinehart, and tell us about this new justice program that is faithful resistance written all over it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. It was great to run into you. And I very much appreciate being here and connecting with our common flame folk and everyone else who watches this podcast. I want to go back actually to January because I honestly thought I was retired. First I was sabbatical, then semi-retired, then retired. And in January, I answered the call to go to Minneapolis, a nationwide clergy call to go to Minneapolis. And this was we were there 2 weeks after Renee Good was murdered, and we were actually there when Alex Preddy was murdered. And what I saw there in Minneapolis, the on-the-ground organizing, the tremendous mutual aid, the tremendous community resistance to what I call is this fascist government. Not everybody agrees that we're there yet, but I came back cautiously optimistic that we in this country can stop the slide from authoritarianism, which we are in right now, directly into fascism. So I came back, and the Reverend Lydia Ferranti Roseberry and she was minister up at Boulder Valley UU Fellowship in Lafayette for 16 years. We are working to help emerge here in Colorado a Unitarian Universalist statewide action network. Now,
Can I stop and applaud? Can I stop and applaud right now? I mean, we need this.
We do. Yes, we do. We do. Our Unitarian Universalists do so much work in the public square, right? And we need such civil resistance right now. But we don't have coherence here in Colorado, uniting us all as Unitarian Universalists and uniting the work that we do in our congregations so that we can show up stronger, so that we can show up more unified. We have a particular faith voice, Unitarian Universalists do, that is so strong. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing right now. We don't have a name for it yet. Statewide Action Network, SAN, or a justice ministry. But UU clergy have met about a week and a half ago, and now we are building towards a May 28th, Thursday evening, 6:30 to 8 p.m. Zoom, at which all religious professionals and all congregants, members and friends of our congregations are invited. And perhaps, down below, you'll find a link to the flyer with a QR code. You can register. And we'll dream together and move forward on this. This is important. Right now, we have so many calls on us, on our time and attention and our pocketbooks and our capacity to read emails, right?
Right.
And we don't want to duplicate anything that is going on here in Colorado. We want to complement, for instance, Colorado has a very strong immigrant um, solidarity, companioning, witnessing infrastructure.
Yes.
And we're not trying to duplicate anything. We want to complement, we want to work with partners um, and unify Unitarian Universalists as we work to bring our values into the public square and resist what is happening in this moment.
So I want to ask you what what you believe the Unitarian Universalist voice is that you mentioned, a particular faith voice.
Yeah. So um, I think the best example is perhaps the solid um, fight for trans rights, queer folk and trans rights. I don't know that there's another religious voice out there that could possibly be stronger than ours. You know, here in Colorado, we have one Colorado, we have the Rocky Mountain. I can't remember their name right now. It used to be Out Boulder.
Mm-hmm.
Um, very strong, very good. But we're the faith voice that stands up and says, it is an article of our faith that we believe in the rights of all queer folks, LGBTQAI, and especially right now, we need that voice to fight for trans rights because they're under particular attack.
I imagine that there are many people who think it extends beyond that too, particularly to immigrant rights right now.
Absolutely, immigrant rights. We have, and our when you look at our national organizations, they're very strong in this way, right? Side with Love includes the UU Solidarity Initiative, which is very strong, particularly focused on immigrant rights. UU The Vote is under the Side with Love rubric. Uplift, which is fighting for queer folk across that spectrum. Um, Let me say something about UU The Vote, okay, and resistance, civil resistance. Let me just pick this book up right now and say we all need to be reading this book, Civil Resistance by Erica Chenoweth, what everyone needs to know right now. So there is this relationship that I have with politicians, elections, and campaigns, and I struggle with it because there's so much of a glamour around power, an attraction to power that comes in that electoral space that I'm not that crazy about. Of course, we need it. We're working to defend democracy right now, and democracy includes elections and politicians and campaigns.
Absolutely.
Um, and saving democracy is about so much more. It's about so much more. And that mutual aid that I saw in Minneapolis, that I think all of us are coming to understand better how much of a foundation that is to saving democracy. Um, so, UU The Vote, UU Solidarity Initiative, these are our national organizations. And for us, it also includes reproductive justice, the fight for bodily autonomy, um, my body, my choice for everyone, right? Not just folks that need abortions, but across the spectrum, bodily autonomy so we can be safe in our bodies and not disappeared by the carceral state, which is what we have going on right now in our country.
And climate change.
And climate change,
Indisputably climate
absolutely.
change.
Absolutely climate change. Yes. Yes.
So when you met with Lydia and you started talking about this for Colorado, uh, and I know you want to have everybody dream together, but what's the seed of the dream as far as you're concerned? Where does it start?
Yeah. So it's happening right now, which is the conversation, which is unifying, right? And we're opening it up now. What I hope to see, and I struggle internally, personally, with urgency. Obviously, there's urgency right now. And when I think 3 years down the road, it helps me resist that urgency that might help me skip some steps and make decisions without everyone in the conversation. So let's just say 3 years down the road, I would love to see this funded. So there is a paid executive director here in Colorado of this statewide action networks. I would love to see action hours weekly that we can all work towards, and that lead person is organizing them, because we're not a one issue person. We're not a one issue organization. We're not a one issue congregation. And when I use that word, I mean the gathered people
Sure.
in Colorado, at all our Unitarian Universalist congregations. So that's the seed for me. I don't want to be that executive director. I want someone younger than me doing that work. But we have a lot of work to do right now, before the elections in November. And I'm looking 3 years down the road because that helps me slow down a little bit. So I'm not
I
trying to
get the
push.
part about being patient and not
Yeah,
just jumping in and saying we have to do it all now.
yeah,
You need buy-in.
yeah,
We need mostly
yeah,
to build
yeah.
it.
That's
But
right.
that
Yeah,
doesn't mean we won't do anything until
right,
3 years from now. We can
right.
start
That's
doing
exactly
stuff,
right. That's
please.
exactly right. Yes, yes, yes. And so there's national work to jump in with. For instance, in February we did, with national folks, an ice out phone blitz. Okay. I don't know if you remember that, but we started out with just 1 week. And so 40 people took an hour, and they filled that hour with 20 people. And then every person, 20 people an hour, was making 3 phone calls to national politicians. And I think that gave Democrats a spine on resisting funding the Department of Homeland Security without reforms to what's happening on the ground. Now, there were so many people that wanted to do it. We went into a second week, and then there were so many people that still wanted to take an hour and do that we extended it 3 hours each night. So it was first 40 hours, then 80 hours, and then adding on an extra 15 hours. There were many thousands of phone calls that were made by Unitarian Universalists around the country. Now, I foresee us doing that at a statewide level. This is a model that came out of the North Carolina State Action Network, and they got expanded Medicare. They got free childcare statewide by using this tactic of relentless phone calls to their politicians.
Well,
So that's one.
I love the
Yeah,
specificity, mini goals that
yeah,
can
yeah,
accumulate and have
yeah.
power. It's the thing about, I can't do anything by myself, but you
Right.
get all the people together and it suddenly becomes a critical mass that makes a
It's
difference.
so much greater. Yes, so much bigger than just one person when we work together.
When you mention North Carolina, clearly there are other states that have already taken this approach for a UU
Yes.
action kind of a network. How many others have done it, and how willing are they to share the fruits of their experience?
Yeah. So it's wonderful. There is an organization called CUSAN, CUUSAN, the Coalition of UU State Action Networks. And right at this moment, I think there are between 14 and 20
Great.
currently functioning and active around the country. And so that's a coalition. We are getting a mentor. We're getting a mentor. When we met with clergy a couple of weeks ago, we had executive directors from 2 different states. One was a minister, one was a layperson in Tennessee, and then Minnesota, who was the Minnesota UU Social Justice Alliance, MUSJA, which has been around for like 20 years, and they were critical in getting 750 clergy to Minneapolis in January, um, which was critical in the shift in tactics from DHS. They're not so heavy-handed as they were, right?
Yeah.
But they're still, boy, they are still active and strong, and
Well,
we
I'm
still
suspicious
a lot
when
of
they get
resistance.
quiet.
I know it. I know it. I know.
And they
Yeah.
have been lately. And they say, in fact, there are some people on the right that are pushing back that it's too quiet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I know.
exhausting to watch the ups and the downs of it.
So Nicole Presley who is the organizing strategic lead for the UUA for Side with Love. She came and met with the CUSAN, the Coalition of State Action Networks. And she said something very important about sustainability, right? And that is whatever capacity you think you have between now and November, you have less than you think.
Oh,
So keep that in mind as you are planning your work, and that we cannot burn ourselves out. We cannot continue in an unsustainable way where we're doing too much, we're draining our life energy, we think it all rides on our back, that we have to be careful and take care in community of ourselves and each other. That was kind of music to my ears. That's realistic.
well, I think it's kind of encouraging, therefore, to be able to join hands with lots of
Mhm.
others. There are so many congregations in Colorado
Yes. Yes, 20.
who could make such a difference by, as they say, joining hands.
Yes.
So the
Yeah.
28th is the meeting where you're going to really try to give it a kickstart.
Mm-hmm. We need a name. We can't get a domain until we
That is
get a name.
important.
That was one of my personal urgency issues, right? Like, let's get the domain. But we need help with that. We need help with dreaming. Thursday night, May 28th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. And there's a registration link. And once you register, you'll get the Zoom link to that meeting. And we hope we see you there.
I just appreciate so much that you said, retirement, maybe not so much. I'm going to do this. After
Yeah.
being in Minneapolis, getting inspired,
Yeah.
getting this going, what can we all do? As individuals right now, what can we all do?
We want every Unitarian Universalist in the state of Colorado to join us.
Thank you, and best of luck to all of us.
Thank you. Thank you. So glad to be here with you.
Here's another quote to wrap up. Can't find an attribution. When it comes to justice, don't just look around. Look in the mirror. You can also look at the JUC website's Faithful Resistance page for other ideas for justice work, jeffersonunitarian.org. And as we say each and every time, just keep on doing the next right thing. Go out, do the next right thing.